After you have paid the bills and closed the accounts, it's time for the last part of settling the estate, distributing the remaining assets. As executor, your first task is number 1, finding the assets. When we talk about assets, we don't mean the family silverware, or whatever the hell this is. While this may have sentimental value, it's probably not worth that much to people outside the family. What we're talking about are the assets that made up the departed's net worth. The house, the car, stocks, bonds, crypto if that's worth anything. If your loved one had their together, they organized and stored all the important financial documents in a secure location you have access to. If they didn't have their together, prepare for the world's worst scavenger hunt. For brevity's sake, let's assume all the information is organized and stored for your convenience. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is, depending on your loved one's net worth, you may have to go through probate. Probate is a court-supervised distribution of someone's estate to creditors and beneficiaries, meaning the government takes charge of asset distribution in probably the most costly, time-consuming, and idiotic way possible. The good news is, you're probably too poor to worry about probate. In fact, if you're really poor, your loved one may have more debts than assets. You won't know until you, number 2, find the debts. Sadly, death does not eliminate debt. If someone dies while owing money, it's a responsibility of the estate to repay those debts, meaning it's your responsibility as executor. But what if the amount of debt is greater than the value of the estate? Who's responsible for paying back the creditors then? If you find yourself in a situation where your parents owe a massive amount of debt that can't be covered by the estate, take a deep breath. Creditors legally can't come after someone's children for unpaid debt. Yet. Remember though, 98% of creditors are the scum of the earth. So they may threaten to sue you if you don't pay them what they're owed. If they threaten legal action, consult a lawyer. If the departed is your spouse, things become more complicated. According to Scott Taylor Smith, spouses are responsible for paying their dead partner's debts. Of course, like anything under the law, there are exceptions, so again, consult a lawyer. After you settle all the outstanding debts, it's time to finally, number 3, distribute the estate. Naturally, having the most recent valid will makes distributing the estate a lot simpler. Yet, just like an advance care directive needs power of attorney, a valid will needs an executor to enforce it. If you are the executor and have a will, you have a guideline you can follow. A will may be very simple, like, I divide my estate evenly between my 2 daughters, Goneril and Regan. Or it can exclude people from inheritance, like that ingrate Cordelia. It can also leave specific items to specific people, like your kingdom for your horse. Of course, we all know of the vast gulf between theory and praxis. It's one thing to say the estate should be divided evenly. It's another thing to actually do it, especially amongst siblings. You may be one of those people who has amicable relations with your family. Or you may be one of those people who fantasizes about re-educating your family with arsenic. Whatever your family dynamics, the most important tool for settling an estate is clear communication. In fact, it's important that you work out with your siblings how you want to divide the assets even before your parents' death. Yes, it is morbid, but doing it now gives you more time to process your grief. Of course, the simplest way to divide the assets is to appraise them, sell them, and divide the proceeds evenly amongst the listed beneficiaries. If things are complicated, then you should, say it with me, consult a lawyer. Of course, we know that as communists, you abhor the idea of inherited wealth. You know the evils of our techno-feudal hell stem from generational wealth concentrated in the hands of the bourgeoisie elite. And you don't want to be part of the bourgeoisie. We know that when the time comes, you'll do the right thing and donate your inheritance to a deserving nonprofit. Produced in collaboration with Fort Collins Public Media.